Hello， 欢迎来到赛后采访环节，我是主持人 Reirachu。今天很高兴欢迎台北这一战队的中路选手 Uniboy 来到了赛后采访席。Hey guys, and welcome to the post-match interview. I'm Reirachu. Here with me today is none other than J Team's mid laner Uniboy. Uniboy, can you introduce yourself, please? 那 Uniboy 可以先跟大家打个招呼吗？
大家好，我是
Uniboy。Congrats on getting the 3-2 today after such a hard-fought series. What are your thoughts right now? 首先，当然要恭喜你们在今天这么艰难的一个 BO5 4列下取得了胜利。现在的心情会如何呢？
就昨天输完 CFO， 今天赢了 BYG， 心情很好，就很兴奋终于赢了。
So he said that he's ecstatic. He's super happy right now because their last match they lost to CFO, but the fact that they were able to win today makes him very happy. He thinks that, oh, great, we finally managed to win a series. So the next question I want to ask is, in today's best of 5, you guys dropped that game number 1. What was your mentality like after that game number 1? Because as you mentioned, you're just coming off of that 0-3 loss versus CFO a few days ago. 想问就是今天输了第一把之后，战队中的你们呢，情绪会是怎样的呢？毕竟，而且 Uniboy 也刚才就是提到前2天才刚输给 CFO， 刚被他们0-3。
第一把输的话，就是大概我们刚才有跟我那把玩比较好一点，然后我就跟大家说没关系，下一把就是尽量听我跟空月的沟通，然后我们下一把打好来，就差不多这样。
So he said that in game number 1, actually his personal performance was not bad. So what he told the rest of the team after that was that, guys, like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much for the next games. Just listen more to me and Kongyure and like our comms between the mid as well as jungle, and we'll be able to make it through the next couple of games. So the next question I want to ask is that watching J Team during regular season and then watching you guys during playoffs, there is a pretty obvious difference. I mean, there are ups and downs in terms of your performance. I want to ask if you can tell us more about why there's been such a difference in terms of performance. But looking at today's best of 5 series, however, it looks like you guys are starting to find your form back. Can you tell us what adjustments you guys have made in the last couple of weeks? 接下来想问的就是你们在季后赛的表现相当的不稳定，可以跟我们说一下就是发生了什么事吗？然后在今天的这个 BO5 中看起来就有逐渐的回稳，那在这中间的休息是有没有跟彼此鼓励打气的呢？还是你们是怎么找回来状态的？
不稳定的因素是应该是我们的上下比较容易常犯失误啦，就是他们可能脑子有时候可能会打结，然后我就可能出来把气氛调回来，然后他们可能脑子就会比较清晰啊。对，大概是这样。
So he said that the reason why it looks like J Team's performance is sometimes unstable is because their top, as well as their bot, sometimes have fog in their brains and don't really know what's going on. He says that when that happens, usually he's the one who will come out and try to tell them what they're doing wrong and try to like snap them out of it, and then they play better. So my next question that I want to ask is with regards to game 2 and game 3, your lane matchup, because game number 2, you played LeBlanc versus Ahri. Game 3, you played the reverse matchup, Ahri versus LeBlanc. But both times you won the lane versus Minji. So I want to ask if you can give us any tips on how to play out the Ahri LeBlanc lane. 那第二把就你是选了 LeBlanc 来打明智的阿里，可是呢就第3把你却是用了阿里来打明智的 LeBlanc， 2次都赢线。想问就能够问一下 Uni 老师，阿里对上 LeBlanc 的这条线应该怎么打呢？有没有什么小技巧可以分享跟大家说吗？
勒布朗打阿里的话，就是前面线就是换血上可能就是 W 起手，然后 AQ 或是 A 一下，然后但是前面的妖姬效果要打出来，主要是如果没有打出来的话，后面等级起来可能就不好打阿里了，大概是这样。
So he said that for LeBlanc, what you have to do is you have to push the early game advantage. Most of your damage in the early game versus Ari is going to come from your W as well as your follow-up Q, or your W and then an auto attack. He said that you really need to push this advantage early on, because if you don't have an advantage as LeBlanc versus Ari, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to play the lane in the later stages. So the next question I want to ask is regards to the J Team's Caster on Duty episode, because when we were watching that interview, it was very clear that you have a great relationship with your teammate Kongyue. So I want to ask who you're closest to on J Team out of all of your teammates. 接下来想问就是看了 Caster 出任务就能够看得出来 Uniboy 跟队友Kongyue关系是非常好，想问就是队友当中你是跟谁关系最好的呢？
我觉得跟空约好的关系是因为他很吵，然后没有人想要理他，只有我愿意跟他聊天，只有跟他应该才会这么好。
So he said that he thinks that the reason he has the best relationship with Kongyue is that personally he finds Kongyue very noisy as a person, like in the gaming house all the time. He thinks that the rest of his teammates, because Kongyue is so noisy, they tend to just ignore Kongyue, whereas for Uniboy, he's really the only one on the team who's willing to entertain Kongyue when he's making a lot of noise, and that's why they have the best relationship on the team. I want to ask that if you think that because you have such a good relationship with Kongyue, does this then translate into why J Team has such good mid jungle synergy? 那接下来想问，也就是关于你跟Kongyue就是关系这么好，想问你会认为就是因为你跟Kongyue关系这么好，所以你们才会有这么好的中野配吗？你觉得就 JT 队伍的克星战术会是因为这个原因吗？
主要是我跟空月的配合成功率比较高啦，所以他才会比较常打中野啊，对，大概是这样。
So he says that they J Team usually opts to play for jungle and mid. It's more so because they have a higher success rate when jungle decides to help mid out compared to the other lanes, and so that's just the reason why they decide to play for jungle and mid a lot more. My next question is that I want to ask, because Uniboy, last year you were playing in the LPL, this year you're back in the PCS. What was the main reason for this? Can you tell us more about that decision? 那接下来想问就是关于Uniboy选手毕竟是去年是在 LPL 打，然后今年的话就是回归 PCS，想问就主要的原因会是什么呢？
回来打是因为舒压一下，毕竟去年成绩不太好，回来虐一下菜也好，大概是舒服一下。
He said that he decided to come back to the PCS for a bit of a reset, because he said that last year in the LPL, he didn't really get very good results. So for him, he just kind of wanted to come back to PCS, relax a bit, and then just trash on some noobs in the region to feel better. Right. So my next question that I want to ask is that today your performance was very good. I want to ask amongst the PCS mid laners, where do you see yourself ranking as? And also maybe is there any other mid laner in PCS that gives you the most pressure? 那今天因为发挥的特别好，你个人会觉得自己是 PCS 的前几名中路呢？
我不敢讲我自己是第一啊，但应该没人敢在我面前说他是第二啦。
你会觉得 PCS 哪一位中路在对阵上会给你很大的压力吗？
我给东山好了啊，毕竟这么老了还能打得这么好。
So he said that personally, he doesn't quite dare to say that he is the top mid laner within the PCS right now, but he thinks that if he doesn't say that he's the number one mid laner in PCS, he thinks that none of the other PCS mid laners have the guts to then say that, oh, they're number one and they're better than Uniboy. And then I also asked him which current PCS mid laner right now gives him the most pressure in lane. He said that he has to give it over to Mission, because because he's been a pro player for so long that he kind of knows how to play out the game and also can pressure him within the game. So I want to ask, during the behind the scenes filming for the spring season playoffs, you mentioned that if J-Team won the spring finals, you would do the popular TikTok O2 dance. So I wanted to ask, will you really be doing this dance for us? 那季后赛拍摄花絮Uniboy 选手就是说，如果赢了决赛后会02摇，想问真的会摇吗？
摇啊，哪次不摇？一定摇，一定摇。
He said, of course. He said, when has he ever said that he would dance and then not danced? So the last question I want to ask is, for your match next week, you're going to be playing, you're going to be up against either FAK or Deep Crest Gaming. Which team would you rather play against? And are you confident in that game? 最后一个问题就是想问关于下周要对上 FAK 或者 DCG，你比较会希望对上哪一支战队呢？还有自信吗？
我先说有自信了啊。至于对上那2支战队，我就不包含进去了。应该我们就是打 CFO 了。这2队都没什么好参考价值的。
So he said that firstly, he wants to come out and say that he definitely has confidence going into the next matchup. He thinks that between FAK and DCG, he thinks that there is not all that much that he can learn from either of these teams, and that the team has their sights set on CFO to play versus them. All right, thank you so much, Uniboy, for the interview, and of course, good luck for the rest of playoffs. 好的，那非常感谢 Uniboy 接受今天的赛后采访，祝 JT 下周加油！台北这战队到底在这赛季会走多远呢？让我们拭目以待。马上就把画面交回主播台喽，拜拜。